ליל מלא רחמים, שוכן במרומים, המצא מנוחה נכונת, כל הנקברים במאונטן ויו, בגן עדן תמנוחתם.
The Jewish people have a long legacy, and they carry that legacy forward with them. Cemeteries are a preservation of our historical consciousness, our legacy.
There's an old Jewish proverb that says, "You're alive as long as you're remembered."
Ginsberger is here, and Petersky is there. Abraham and Tuba Nemetz.
Each gravestone tells a tale of individual lives and the times in which they lived.
Died in 1904.
Together, they tell the larger story of our early community, a story too often neglected in our recent history. At the turn of the 20th century, Vancouver had a population of about 14,000. Among them, there were 200 Jews. They came mainly from Europe, fleeing pogroms and other forms of anti-Semitism. They found work as shopkeepers and tradesmen. And even back then, they knew what it took to keep a customer happy. Except, of course, when they had to close their doors on a business day in the middle of the week. Here, they had found something of a haven in a magnificent rainforest on the edge of the Pacific Ocean. In 1891, David Oppenheimer, a Jewish immigrant from Frankfurt, who was to become Vancouver's second mayor, granted a small section of the city's first cemetery to God's peculiar people, a first step in building their community. Tight-knit and dependent on each other, they were looking for a better life for themselves, their children, and their children's children.
Zebulun had 12 children.
3 generations later, Norman Franks proudly remembers the story of his pioneering grandfather. Vancouver's first Orthodox leader, Zebulon Franks, held Passover Seders in his store.
Why is it so emotional for me to visit my grandmother's grave? She died 18 years before I was born. I was told all my life that she was buried on the grounds of St. Paul's Hospital, which is ludicrous, but we didn't know any different. You know. We didn't know where she was buried.
A rekindled interest in a grandmother led to the discovery of where Sarah Hannaford was buried after almost 100 years. Sarah Hannaford is just one of many Jewish men, women, and children buried in Mountain View Cemetery who were forgotten with the passage of time.
Morris Landers and Joseph Schiller.
There are 450 graves in this cemetery.
Grossman, Golden, Goldstein, and Cohen.
150 are unmarked. Until today.
So we're placing stones exactly where people are buried.
Shirley Barnett heads the Mountain View Cemetery Restoration Project.
Do you want those all lined up?
With the zeal of a leader on an archaeological dig. It was an act of vandalism in the summer of 2012 that inspired Shirley Barnett to begin the process that would restore and revitalize the headstones and the cemetery at Mountain View.
This cemetery is 122 years old.
Shirley is bringing together the community to rediscover and celebrate its collective and, until now, partly hidden past. For Shirley, there's also a personal connection.
Abraham Nemetz was my grandfather, and I'm going there too.
Our plans are not just to restore and restabilize the stones, but to uncover the curbs. Many family plots had magnificent artistically designed curbs. Create pathways and add benches, a washing station. Replicate the old gates and fencing. And truly make this historic site a place of beauty. Key to this are two world-class architects. Who would have thought that two of Canada's top cemetery experts are Jewish and live in this city?
But for me personally, it's just a chance to add to the history of the Jewish culture in this city, to help perpetuate its story and to ensure that it continues on for centuries.
This project to me means a great deal because it helps the community to understand the Jewish past, and I'm very proud to be part of it.
And so, as evidenced here by the presence of generations of Sarah and Louis Hannaford's descendants, this love of family continues. Rest in peace, Sarah Hannaford.
The Mountain View Cemetery Restoration Project is an unveiling of more than a headstone. It's the unveiling of our community's past. These trailblazers who settled in this remote, rugged, and special place were determined to hold on tight to their traditions and rituals given to them by their ancestors.
We see people who carry our traditions forward, our people forward, and they become lighthouses, beacons that help direct us, and we remember them. Hey Nishmata Tzura B'Tzura Chaim, may her soul be bound in the bond of eternal life.